What's shaking, folks? Back with another reaction, back with some more Morrissey, and more from his 1991 album Kill Uncle. Thank you, as always, to Seb, as well as to Luca, who's hanging out. And the next track is, parenthetically, I'm, and then for the regular part of the title, The End of the Family Line. So, it feels like the mood here is very Morrissey right out of the gate. My immediate interpretation, or my hypothesis, is that it relates to the way that, especially in, let's say, Western cultures and societies, most families are patriarchal in nature, meaning kids inherit their father's family name, and thus, if you are a male child and you don't end up having kids, or you don't get married, or both, then you do not pass on the family name, and thus, if you were an only male child, or if your male siblings themselves didn't have children or progeny, and if you were the youngest, well, then you would be the end of the family line. So, yeah, my thought is that maybe it's Morrissey, or at least a character for the song, being confident that he is not going to have children, and thus he will be the end of his family line. Obviously, it could be something completely unrelated to that, but that seems a more obvious interpretation based on the title itself. Let's see what it is in practice. This is Morrissey, the tune is I'm, and again, that's parenthetical, and then for the rest of the title, The End of the Family Line, from his 1991 album Kill Uncle.
With no complication, 15 generations of mine. All honoring nature until I arrive with incredible style. No baby pulse screaming out into the seething world by chance or when or even love. Our family tree hacked into decline, and I'm spared the pain of ever saying goodbye. The decision is mine, the end of the family line, the end of the line.
Well, I feel like that is pretty much what I was thinking in advance. There's a couple lines I didn't hear in their entirety, but what I did hear suggests that he is saying it's his choice. He's not going to have kids, and thus he will be the end of the family line. He also talked about a family tree being hacked apart or something to that effect, which I feel like there could be more meaning there, although it could just be like there's no more branches because the proliferation of new generations after I think he said 15 generations it will not happen anymore, it will stop. So yeah, I think it's pretty much what I had in mind in advance. There was a line where like he'll be spared from having to say goodbye, and I wonder if that's about, in most cases, unfortunately not all cases, sometimes children do die before their parents, but generally speaking, and all of the things being equal or barring some disease or accident, whatever, most parents die before their children. So if he were to have children, maybe he's saying he's being spared the pain of having to say goodbye as he is about to pass, and his children would be younger than him. So yeah, either way, it feels like it is literally about familial lineage, and again, whether he's the only male child in his family or otherwise, the idea that this is it. There's not going to be a 16th generation. There's not going to be another generation. And he's saying it's his choice, meaning it's not because of like some medical issue or because he, can't find a partner or whatever. He's just literally saying there's going to be no children. There is no progeny. And thus I am the end of the family line. So yeah, it feels a bit morose. It feels a bit sad, although his attitude, I guess, isn't that, right? His attitude is like, look, this is my choice. And in fact, I'm doing it because I don't want to be distraught or sad later down the line. Though again, maybe that line could relate to other aspects of the family, especially if the hacking the family tree line means something different than I'm thinking. But yeah, it's like his attitude is just straightforward. Like, look, this is my choice. This is what is or isn't going to happen. And that's the end of it. And here's the result of that. The implication of that is that I'm the end of the family line. But he's not particularly sad about it. He's not saying like I can't have kids or something like that. So yeah, like sonically it feels closer to Smith style, certainly, a slower, more morose type of Smith song. Musically, I feel like this one is in that range. Of course, again, when I've been going through the Morrissey solo material, my brain inevitably is thinking, is this close to the Smith style? Is it farther away? And I think there's been songs that are on both ends of that spectrum. This one I would say is maybe not identical to a Smith's tune, but it's more like some of their work than some of the other solo stuff I've heard from Morrissey so far. So yeah, a cool tune, a shorter one. I want to say like 3.5 minutes maybe. Yeah, almost exactly, 3:27. So yeah, not a lengthy tune, and one where, again, unless I'm mishearing it, it feels like the meaning is pretty straight away, and in a way very Morrissey in terms of, people often sing about, they have songs about the joy that a child has brought into their life or the excitement that they feel at, being part of this larger family. And of course there's many songs about broken families and so on. But yeah, this feels like the kind of song that Morrissey would write when it comes to issues of families and children and so on. In any case, from the very busy and grooming Luca and I, let me know what you think, and I will see you next time. Peace.